This is such a hot mess.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm live right now. Don't say don't tell me your
PP
size, okay?
Okay. You wanna hop in Discord? What's up?
Hey Lowe's, can you do something for me? Can you? I hung up.
So, I'm assuming that you've listened to all the songs so far.
I've listened to the Drake track and we just finished the Kendrick track. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything. You kick this off. You tell me what's on your mind after those.
Look, I'll say initial reaction to the Drake track.
Yeah.
I was impressed, and I thought it was really nasty. Musical preferences aside, because just speaking like from a song perspective, beat perspective, I do like Kendrick's Euphoria more, but I think the Drake track had a lot of content in it that was super scathing. I think he made points. I think he effectively flipped the colorism thing on Kendrick, talking about his sexual preferences and the fact that, he's had dealings with white women that, according to Drake, he needed to get his self-esteem up and so on and so forth. I think Drake made some valid arguments in terms of...
And then he beats his wife. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm getting to that.
His wife.
I'm getting to that.
Yeah.
I think he made some... I think he made some effective arguments in terms of we're not that different and you're trying to create separations between us that aren't there. And then as you just said, the most damning stuff that he threw out there, he really saved for last. And, that's stuff that I'm curious to see what sort of like, if that ends up in the same way that Pusha sort of like, brought up, Adonis, if that ends up kind of creating a snowball where the information that line is in relation to comes out, So yeah, I mean, I thought it was a super nasty track. I thought it was a strong response from Aubrey. Did you like? Were you big on the Family Matters?
Did you hear his thing on Instagram too, or did you not listen to that?
Yeah, we listened to that after. It sort of seemed like.
Okay.
I mean, there were some extra bars there, but it mostly just kind of seemed like a bit of a teaser.
So I think before, because we haven't talked about this at all, even going back to Like That and all that shit, right?
We've been texting and talking about when we're gonna talk about it. So now we just kind of are.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know how much. Do you want to get into the older tracks? I feel like maybe we should just talk.
No. I'm just making a point before I say about this song. I just want to make a point, bro. I don't know if anybody, I know people with brains are seeing this, and even some people with brains are choosing not to see this. But this is literally looking like a calculated attempt to take out Drake from literally, as Drake has famously stated, 20v1. This whole shit about we don't trust you, it's all making this narrative that Drake is like lying and everything is, and all these people are going against him. Right? This is looking like a team up. So it's like, whoever is on that side saying shit, people are gonna just believe that and not believe what Drake's saying, right? That's what they're attempting to do. That's what they're attempting to do, and Kendrick is a part of it, right? People are acting like, it's Kendrick versus Drake. No. It is Kendrick and all those dudes versus Drake, and Drake went at a few of the other guys in that song too.
Yeah.
But so that's what I'm trying to say is that because I'm already seeing, and the songs have only been out for, I don't even think it's been an hour. I'm already seeing people want to just run with the shit Kendrick just said, but we're just ignoring what Drake said. So we're taking what Kendrick said as gospel.
Okay. Look,
and we're taking what Drake said as,
I can't attest to anything that you're reading online right now. I can tell you, and my chat will verify that we listened to the Drake track. And we did not listen to, maybe there were some specifics that went over our heads, but, the key stuff about Kendrick and his, past and his wife, and so none of that stuff flew by us, and we took account of as much of it as we could. We didn't ignore it, and we're not ignoring it over here. And there is still very much a chance that, you know, a lot of what Drake could be saying on that track is totally valid. But to your point, I feel like it was strategic on Kendrick's part to, the second Drake dropped a song, I don't even think it even, Kendrick may have not even checked what's on the fucking track. The second Drake dropped a track, Kendrick drops another, so that attention is kind of divided, is divided. So that attention is divided between the tracks everybody's uploading.
Of course. And I think it's smart, because it's always like whoever has the last song out is sort of in the eyes of the public looks like, oh, they're up. Right. Like when Drake had Push-Ups out and then Taylor Made, everyone was saying Drake's up. Then Kendrick drops. Now, Kendrick's up. Drake dropped. Everyone's like, oh, bro, it's the best one. Then all of a sudden, Kendrick dropped again. It's recency bias.
No, look. I get it. And I was saying this before we even played the Kendrick track. And again, chat will verify this as well. And I'm literally recording the stream now as we speak. And I have no plans on chopping anything out of it. Or, you know, when we chop the Kendrick video and put that up. You know, before the Kendrick track that just dropped, you know, before we played it, I said, the biggest potential mistake here is that whatever's on this track is not going to be a direct response to Drake. So that there could have been damning information in the Drake diss, which we know there was, that Kendrick is just now ignoring and overlooking because he's dropped this random track out of nowhere. That is not obviously a reflex to the content of Drake's track. Because it's a pre-planned, it's a canned response. Which, you know, I kind of feared either of the artists here doing that, as I was kind of saying on the NFR podcast, because I think canned responses, pre-planned responses aren't, you know, it's playing more up, you know, as you kind of show and you say, you know, it's more playing with public perception than it is actually responding to your opponent.
Exactly.
Because, you know,
it is.
Kendrick did put out the last track, so everything's going to be perceived in a certain way now. But, you know, but with that being said, you know, like games aside, what did you think about the content of Family Matters? Do you feel like it resonated with you? Do you feel like it was a strong response?
I thought it was a great response. I love like that. Again, people got to realize, I know we want to see just Drake versus Kendrick, but you got to understand too, Drake has literally been dissed by multiple people still. Like, it's still going on. So obviously he has to throw that in there too. But this is why I love it, is because he dedicated like the first and second section just completely to Kendrick. Mm-hmm. And he's in the place that Kendrick said that he goes and gets the noodles or wherever I think it was really good. I liked it. As far as Drake diss tracks, I think this was the most like, you know, crazy I've ever seen Drake go, like actually get serious, you know?
Yeah, I mean it's not as catchy as Back to Back, but it's more aggressive.
Way more aggressive. Back to Back was like, if you look at that now, it just, you know, it looks like he's just kind of fucking with Meek Mill.
Yeah, he's kind of laughing it off the entire time. As deadly as that track was as a diss, he's kind of laughing it off the entire time. You know, here's the thing, like when Drake was just kind of like posting movie clips in response to all this, you know, and not that I thought that this was a bad move for him to take, but I was like, oh, he's not taking this serious. And like maybe he's just gonna kind of play it off as like, you know, I'm dicking around, I'm laughing this off. I'm succeeding. I'm number one. Meanwhile, over here, you're mad. But like Drake actually sounds pissed now. He does legitimately sound pissed.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, I don't know if this was the red button yet. I don't know.
From Drake or from Kendrick?
From Drake.
Yeah, I mean Drake just posted that other thing where he. Did you see the latest picture? He just posted a picture of an owl looking at a red button. So I think Drake, to your point again, I think Drake, in his own mind, or you know, maybe he knows something that we don't. I presume on some level he wouldn't post that picture if he didn't have more to say. I think he has more to say. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So then okay, so I gave my thoughts. What do you think? What's your? I want to hear your take.
Well, I mean, again, like personally, I'll say like as a song, I preferred Euphoria over, Family Matters. While I think a lot of the content of Family Matters was deadly, there's definitely some stuff in there, like with Kendrick's partner, that I kind of feel like it's quite damning. It's really nasty, but like we don't really know until there's any kind of confirmation on that. Just like with Adonis, Pusha T could have said what he said about Drake having a child, but if that didn't actually kind of surface afterwards, like, that wouldn't have meant anything. But it's also kind of the same thing.
Did you see the post that Drake, or the story?
Which one?
Where his latest one.
Where he's talking about not having a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll get to that. We haven't started talking about the Kendrick track yet.
Okay,
we'll get to that. We'll get to that when we get to the Kendrick track. But, again, just general assessment of the Drake track. I think it was good and effective as a response because it puts Kendrick in a position where he has to say something. And see, here's the thing. While this new Kendrick track is very strong and very good, and again, we'll get to it and we'll get through it, I don't think Kendrick can or should simply get away with not doing any kind of song or anything that doesn't respond directly to the stuff Drake has put in this track, because some of it, again, is pretty damning and pretty embarrassing if true. And I feel like Kendrick needs to defend his public image here, because obviously he cares about it a lot and he does a lot to sort of maintain it in a certain way. And again, if some of what Drake, the worst stuff of what Drake is saying on this track is true, Kendrick needs to respond. I don't think he can just skate by with this pre-planned, pre-canned track over here without, disproving what Drake is saying or responding in some way.
Yeah. So then like, I almost feel like, I know you're saying, he should respond to that, but in that song, and we're going to get to that song, but he's basically just saying, Drake, you're just a liar, you're a liar. So he's basically just trying to, like, do a cop-out and be like, anything you say is a lie. Meanwhile, Kendrick could just say whatever the fuck he wants. It's like, bro, like, it's almost to the point now where it's like, you just either believe who you want to believe or you don't. Like, I feel like it might be past the point of songs. It might be past songs at this point.
Yeah.
It might just be, nah, bro, show proof. If you don't have proof of this shit, like before Kendrick's fucking claims or whatever, where's the proof of this shit?
No, I before you even came on stream, that's pretty much what we were saying. Like, this thing has devolved to the point where it's just he said right now.
Yeah, it's
like that's literally what it is.
How good the song is anymore. It's not even about that anymore, bro.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, and again, I've said this on Twitter. This is like the Pusha T effect. This is the Pusha T effect, because like the story of Adidon is the most defining hip hop diss of the past 10 plus years. And, it's a well-written track, but part of the reason, obviously, for most people that it's so effective is that it exposed Drake for having a son. That,
the only reason, there's not multiple.
No.
That is the reason. Let's not get it twisted. We're change the fucking narrative here. If Pusha did not say that, no one would give a fuck about that diss track.
You can't say that, because if Pusha T was not
say that,
if Pusha T
has already dissed Drake before.
Stop. If Pusha T wasn't saying stuff that wasn't worth responding to, Drake wouldn't have done Duppy Freestyle in the first place.
Yeah, but that wasn't just to Pusha. You're forgetting that it's about Kanye too. You're forgetting. It's not. That wasn't just about Pusha T.
Well, no. Pusha T has been firing shots at Drake and Wayne and Birdman prior to Infrared for years. I understand that. Yeah.
But you just said Duppy Freestyle. The Duppy Freestyle was not just something about Pusha. It was about Kanye.
Okay,
and Pusha.
But it was in response to Pusha, because it wasn't Kanye doing diss records and diss verses against Drake. It was Pusha.
Kanye
like,
listen,
I understand, and I don't disagree with we don't disagree as much as you think we do. I understand that, like, especially during that time, Pusha in a lot of ways was just like a proxy for Kanye, but it's not like there wasn't good writing and genuine hate coming from Pusha on all that. It's not like Pusha was just this innocent bystander who just started taking up hate for Drake because Kanye told him to. Like that was always there. That was there prior. Like that's part of why they worked together as a team and worked so effectively in that way to begin with. Like that was still coming from a genuine place for Pusha.
But again, and it was always and this is like a theme with Drake. It's always Drake having to respond to people. Like, he'll throw a shot out, but it's not for no reason. There's always some shit went down. And that's what it just seems like in all of these things. How many fucking shots has Kendrick fucking thrown over the years?
Listen, I don't know if I fully agree with that because Drake throws out so many fucking subliminals and they just increase in number with every record. And, you know, the thing is like, I understand because it's a subliminal, you don't necessarily have to respond. I get it. Listen, I don't want to get too deep into why the story of Adidon was relevant in the first place. Let's just get back to the point that I think we both ultimately agree on. And it's because of the effect of that track. Now for hip hop fans and for rappers, I think the motivation is, and look, it was even happening with Euphoria because look, I think Euphoria is a great quality, well-written track, but there were even a lot of Kendrick fans who were like, he's just saying a bunch of stuff everybody's already said. And it's like, well, what does that matter? Does he have to like, you know, go through fucking, you know, Drake's school, you know, permanent record and sort of like, you know, talk about like his fucking grades in math class to like, you know, fucking impress you? Like, you know,
in some ways we want to hear like, cause of what he's been saying, like, oh, don't let me do this. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, oh, this is a light, like whatever, right? So, all right, then what's the big bomb? Like, what is, because we've heard these jokes about Drake. We see these jokes about Drake every day, right?
Yeah.
So that's what people mean by that. They don't just mean, bro, you're saying you got some shit. What's the shit? Now, I guess that brings us to this song now that we're at, which I don't even know what this newest Kendrick song is. What the fuck is it called?
You've listened to the new Kendrick track, right?
Oh, the Grant. Yes.
Yeah,
I listened to it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So look, before we even talk about that, I think we can both again agree, like, again, this is beyond bars at this point. This has gotten incredibly personal. And I think, this is not really about competition, you know, like you can argue that like, you know, there's more hate coming from one direction than the other, but like, you know, these guys hate each other. These guys hate each other. And it's very clear that they want to do personal damage to each other that goes beyond like, and this was the spirit of rap beef to, you know, begin with, you could say, they want to go beyond just embarrassing each other because, you know, one's a better rapper, better lyricist, better, you know, at flowing than the other. Like, you know,
let me stop you there because
we're out to destroy each other's, you know.
Yeah. But let me wait. Hold on. I gotta pause right there because the way you're wording it is like, oh, they just hate each other. No. If you are gonna believe the shit that Kendrick has said, right? Kendrick said that Drake tried to, you know, send him a like a feature request or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't see Drake out here talking shit about Kendrick.
I'm saying Drake.
If anything, he was trying to.
I don't disagree with you. I'm saying Drake hates.
It's just Kendrick hating Drake.
No, listen, I don't disagree with you. Yes, I did just say Drake hates Kendrick, but I think Drake hates Kendrick as a result of what Kendrick is doing right now. I don't think Drake has always.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think Drake has had this, you know, maybe on some level a bit of disdain, but I don't think Drake has secretly been hiding like the level of seething anger for Kendrick that Kendrick clearly has for Drake is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why this anger? Why this hatred? What makes sense here? Right.
Well, look, it's not something I personally identify with. Okay. It's not. Mm-hmm. Okay. But like, you know, look, if we look at literally the content of the tracks Kendrick is saying here, I think he personally finds Drake to be, and look, we know Kendrick's a spiritual guy. He's Mr. Morale. He's a godfather. He's a godfather. In Euphoria, he took Drake to task for, you know, what he believes is he doesn't teach his son to pray and so on and so forth. Like, he clearly thinks Drake is a morally inferior being. And that alone is enough.
I think that's an excuse. Yeah,
no, listen, I'm not saying he can
come up with whatever reasons he wants.
Let me finish my goddamn thought. You could think it's an excuse, and again, I said I didn't identify with it. Okay, you're asking me what his motivation is. Okay, no, I genuinely think he feels that way. I genuinely think he feels like he's morally superior to Drake. And listen, you could pull it apart and say, well, that's kind of, you know, bullshit. And that's just a reason for him to, you know, launch an attack that he wants to launch. But again, I think he legitimately on some level, or else he probably wouldn't go this hard, because I think he's super emotionally invested in a way that on some level is a little irrational. I think he does. I think he does see Drake as a morally inferior guy, and he sees cause to attack him for that reason.
And okay, listen, I respectfully, I hear your opinion, but I'm just going to throw something out there. I just want you to and everyone who's listening, I want you to just think about this, okay? When you have somebody who everyone calls the GOAT, okay? I'm not going to say everyone, because there's people like Fantano, right? But most people calls this person the GOAT, right? When you think you're better than someone, or you want to be better than someone, and you're in the exact same profession, right? And nobody's saying you're better than this guy. They're all saying this guy, whatever, right? Bro, there's this resentment kind of starts to form. This hatred and jealousy, and that's the only rational thing that could get someone this hot and bothered, bro. Because if Kendrick is so about morally, you know, if he's such a good moral whatever, then why the fuck was Kodak Black the fucking, like, on 5 of his fucking songs? This dude is convicted fucking bad fucking person, okay? Why does he not go after the people who are actually, it's out there in the open how bad they are of a person? Right? That's why I'm not buying this thing where, oh, Kendrick really just believes that he's just superior to Drake. No, I think it really comes down to some petty, like, schoolyard, like, yo, I'm jealous of you, bro. Fuck you. I hate you. I hate the way you look. I hate the way you talk. I literally think, and I think he's even saying that. But you gotta have some kind of you can't just outright just be a hater, because then people will call you out on that. And Kendrick is a smart guy. Kendrick is a very smart person. So he can't just come out and just say he just fucking hates him and that's it. He's got to put some reasons in there. And bro, again, there's a lot of fucking reasons you can hate Drake because of, you know, he's as popular as he is. There's going to be a lot of people who hate him. There's going to be stories, unverified stories, things that make him look bad, whatever. And listen, people in here could be saying, oh, you're in too deep, you're whatever. Bro, I'm not in too deep. I'm really just trying to look at this from the most simple perspective possible. I'm not looking too deep. Okay? Maybe there is some deeper thing that they have some beef personally. I don't know. But that's like where I'm at with this. Okay? And that's not even being biased. Because, bro, honestly, if it's between me and one other guy and whatever, and everyone's hyping this guy up, and you know, I feel like I'm getting left behind, and maybe I would get mad. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. But
look, I think
it's something to think about.
Listen, you're not wrong. I don't fully disagree with the things that you're saying here, but the reason that I don't disagree is because, I mean, okay, here's the thing. It's the point that you're making is not necessarily a revelation, because Kendrick says this shit in the attack songs against Drake. Like, Kendrick admits.
What did he say?
Well, you just fucking quoted him. He says he fucking.
No, I'm saying specifically. What are you talking about?
He says he fucking hates Drake, and he, you know, you were just saying, oh, he can't just be a hater. No, he is literally just voicing himself as being a fucking hater and admitting that he is a hater. He is admitting that he's a hater too. He is admitting that he's a hater. And listen, I think you make a valid point with the Kodak Black thing. And I mentioned this in my Mr. Morale video. Like, you know, obviously part of the reason or the reason in his own mind that he sort of has or had Kodak on the record is like, oh, look, Kodak was like this bad guy, but like, we should have like forgiveness for people that make mistakes and sin and so on and so forth. When there's like no actual like, sort of like example of like Kodak actually trying to do better necessarily than he has in the past. You know what I mean? That is like
hypocrisy I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, and I don't disagree with you. That hypocrisy is there. And look, as much as of a Kendrick fan I am, the guy's not perfect. He's not infallible, and I did sort of like feel like on some level that in a beef and in a back and forth like this, him attacking Drake in the way that he is, there are risks at him potentially having various things about him sort of exposed in the process of this, because, but nobody's perfect. Everybody has skeletons in their closet. And I think Kendrick in a lot of ways has more on the line than Drake does, because Drake has already been exposed in a million different ways. We don't know as much about Kendrick, in terms of like his personal life and the general stuff that he keeps out of the public eye. So look, while I agree with what you're saying, again, it's not really like a major revelation, because on Euphoria, I think he says as much because he does sort of cite his ego, and he does sort of cite his personal hatred and distaste for Drake as a driver here. I don't disagree with you, but he's kind of putting it out there already. He's admitting to it. And again, I'm not saying it's a good reason to even go after Drake, but part of the reason that we're at this point is you kind of asked me like, what is his actual motivation here? I mean, I don't disagree with you, but like, he's kind of putting it out there. He's admitted it already.
Yeah, I just wanted your opinion on what you really truly think. Like,
listen, I don't think it has to be just one thing. And listen, it doesn't have to be the same thing now as it was at first, because the songs that have been dropping have definitely shifted in tone. Like, I mean, I think you could most definitely argue that like when Like That came out and Euphoria, even though he did dip a little bit into the moral stuff where he's going after Drake for, what he feels is his, how he's lacking as a father. For the most part, both of those tracks were him pretty much stating like, no, actually, I'm the best. There's no big three. Fuck all you guys. I'm the greatest for this reason and that reason. Oh, and on top of it, I hate you. And here's all the reasons that I hate you. And here's all the things I hate about you. But now with this latest track, it's kind of moved beyond rap. He's like really trying to take Drake to task for what he views as his moral shortcomings. That's the whole focus of the song. As he's like not even rapping at Drake half the time, but apologizing to Drake's family members on behalf of Drake.
So are we on to the Kendrick song?
I mean, I guess we can, since, again, I don't disagree with your point. I think that while things have kind of shifted in a focused direction where he's kind of thinking more about Drake's morals and kind of taking him to task over that. And we could also talk about Kendrick's shortcomings as well on that front, and we will. But yeah, no, I don't disagree with your assessment. Like, there's definitely like personal egotistical reasons behind Kendrick's feelings about going after Drake, for sure.
So this is what I want to say about I keep forgetting the name. Graham, what is it called? The Grams or something?
Yeah,
Meet the Grams.
Meet the Grams, the newest track.
Meet the Grams. Okay. Yeah. I think that even for Kendrick, I liked Euphoria more. I feel like this one was just. I don't even consider this a song. I know you love to say songs are not actually songs. We've had this discussion, but that was just like, I don't know, bro. That was just him just saying things over, like it was like him just talking for like 5 minutes straight, bro. There was no type of, dude, yo, chat, be real. Compare Euphoria to that song, please. Please compare it. There was multiple catchy parts of Euphoria. Please. Come on, bro. Be real. All right, fine. Okay, no, fine. Then Meet the Grams is better then. Fine, bro. Fine. All I'm saying is this. And first of all, tell that goofy dude next to you that I can fucking see him. All right? Tell this fucking I can see him.
Go over there. Listen, hey, my chat asked for him to come back, okay?
Hold on.
My chat,
you yap for 10 minutes.
My chat,
your fucking ass off for 10 minutes.
My chat missed him, okay? We were doing a nice new music.
Get out of the frame.
We were doing a nice new Music Friday stream before this, and he is just here in the room with me, and my chat missed him, okay?
I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he's got to catch these strays now. Listen, I'm gonna say this, all right? Kendrick Lamar, you have brought it now to the point where you are saying insane things that need to be verified. Yeah. Because I don't even see Drake having to even say anything back to this shit, bro. Because, dude, at this point, it's like, this is like rumors and rumors and rumors. Oh, nah, you did that. No, bro, where's the proof now, bro? Either someone's getting physical or there's proof. That's it. I don't see... Where do you see this going? I want to know where you see this going.
No, I agree with what you just said, but I think they're both in that position. I think they both have made insane allegations toward each other that are worthy of responses. You know, like that's what I think. Just like point blank.
But they both have made the cheating thing that Drake said about his wife. Isn't that already known that Kendrick cheated on his wife?
He was talking about, already? Well, I mean, no, he was talking. Well, I mean, he was also talking about Kendrick being physically abusive toward his wife. That's
another thing.
Yeah, and I mean, and Kendrick has put that out there about his wife, but I mean, it's really kind of like the physical abuse thing that I feel like is the most damning and really should be like grabbing people's attention in terms of like, you know, I mean, he literally said it last for a reason. You know what I mean? And again, I don't know if like Drake or even Kendrick has any confirmation for anything that they're saying on any of these tracks. You know what I mean? But still, I think they've both said things that are needing responses to.
Really?
Yeah, he just literally said Drake has another kid. Now look,
that is like. Bro, he also said that there's probably other ones out there too. That's what he said.
Okay, but he literally talked about this girl being 11 years old. Like he clearly has, or he thinks he has, some kind of specific information about the individual he's rapping at, which is why he mentions her in the song.
Can I ask you a question?
What?
And I want your answer to this.
What?
Do you think it's possible that Kendrick is just lying? He's out of shit. He's just lying.
I think it's possible that they could both be lying.
Oh, it's got to be both. It can't just be Kendrick lying. Can't just be Kendrick.
Well, at this point, why would you think one is more likely to lie than the other?
I feel like Drake has no reason to lie. I feel like Kendrick has every reason to lie. Let's go off of what you said. Kendrick's got more to lose.
Wait a second. For the purpose of like. Yeah, just out of the sheer motivation that you have to believe they both have to like effectively win and end this beef. There's a motivation for them each to potentially lie and tell the bigger, more damning lie about the other guy so that it's all just kind of over.
Yeah, but that's true. But off of their track records, right? The hypocrisies in Kendrick make me think that he's more likely to lie than Drake. Because what if I don't see anything that leads to Drake being a liar? I just don't see that.
But the thing is like, but the thing is like,
or actual exposures of Drake lying, then sure. But Kendrick has been going back and forth with his words this whole time, bro, and over the years.
And look, I'm not saying I 100% believe just off of Kendrick's word that Drake has another kid. But I think part of the reason that it's probably easy. Listen, let me finish my sentence.
Go ahead.
I think the reason that it's easy for a lot of people to believe that it's potentially true is that Drake's already been exposed for having one kid, you know? So it's like, maybe there is like another one out there that he's also kind of like potentially hiding. And again, Kendrick could be totally bullshitting, but I don't buy into the idea that one of them has sort of, or maybe a major motivation to lie, and the other one has zero. I don't buy into that. And I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying, and I'm not saying, I'm not saying that. And again, I'm not saying that based on what I view of either of their characters. I don't think Drake has a motivation or a likelihood to engage in lying and all this, because I personally think he's a bad guy. You know, again, I think the motivation for both of them primarily is that they're both engaged in this beef. They're trying to take each other down in such a way where they're ruining the other's reputation. And, you know, again, with this like incentive that there is out there these days, as we acknowledge, for rappers to not even just sort of write better lyrics about one another, but expose each other when, you know, a beef does come about. Who the fuck knows what any information any of these dudes are functioning on at any given point? You know, like, I'm sure a lot of the dudes or people who are feeding them whatever info they think they have in each other are like their friends, or are dudes who know people who know another guy. Like, I don't think either of these guys are fucking hiring PIs, to tail the other dude all day.
Daughter is 11. Did you say that?
That's what Kendrick said on the track.
So you mean to tell me that this has not been exposed at all until this day, 11 years later, by Kendrick Lamar? Bro, how perfect would that be, bro? How fucking perfect would that be?
Listen,
that's bullshit, bro. I'm not buying it.
Okay, look. I'm not gonna get super detailed, but like, I've had personal experiences, or I've observed things personally. I've observed situations where people who have had children, okay, in secret, it wasn't exposed until about that period of time. So, you know, it's not impossible. It's not impossible for it to happen.
Sure, but even if Drake does have another kid somewhere, whose business is it? Why is that even bad if he has a kid? Why is that bad? You know what is bad? You know what allegations need to be fucking addressed? Is, do you beat your fucking wife? Do you cheat on your wife? Those are pretty fucking damning allegations. Not, oh yeah, you, a guy who fucks a lot of girls that might have a kid somewhere. Come on, bro.
Well, you know, again, as he's saying on the track, I think it's more kind of the claim that because Kendrick is on his moral high horse, and, you know, again, it's not something I personally identify with. But, you know, I think at the end of the day, it's for him, it's the argument that, number one, that he's not taking care of his kids in the way that he feels like a father should. Okay. There's that. And then the other sort of like, you know, allegation that I feel like ties into all of this is he is claiming that he feels like, and maybe this is a bit of an inconsistency on his part, because, and, you know, I'll say this and I'll admit this, like, you know, okay, you're making the argument that, you know, OVO is essentially just like this crazy sex ring, and, you know, there's like sex offenders on the payroll and so on and so forth, and keep the kids away. But like simultaneously, Drake is not around his kids and he doesn't take care of his kids. Like, are the kids around or are the kids not? Like, you know, is Drake actually taking care of his kids or present in his kids' lives to the point where they would be in the proximity of all of this? Or does he not take care of them at all? And he's sort of in this weird, seedy, you know, Puff Daddy type, you know, multi-level trafficking thing. I don't know.
But yo, listen, that's another thing too, is that it's so crazy how Kendrick because I just saw actually people in the chat saying, oh, he neglects his kid. Bro, this is what I mean. What kind of claims are these? Drake neglects his kid. Oh, he doesn't tuck him in at night. He doesn't wake him up. Like, this is just insanity, bro. This is fan fiction. This is, you just want to believe this, bro, at the end of the day.
No,
okay?
I don't.
Because there is no way to even prove that. Kendrick does not know how Drake treats his child, bro. Come on, bro.
Listen,
it's getting insane now.
I don't disagree that he could be, you know, totally fucking extrapolating based on the fact. I mean, look, let's get this out of the way. I think
Drake could be a better better father than Kendrick for all we know. We don't know.
He could be. Well, that's the thing. We don't know. Look, here's the thing. Like, we know for a fact that pre-story of Adidon, and look, Drake's BM pretty much made this clear as much on social media that, like, you know, they didn't really have like a super strong co-parenting type relationship. You know what I mean? But clearly, like, that changed after the release of that track. You know, that's been acknowledged. But, you know, the thing is, like, I feel like because Drake was caught kind of with his pants down in that way one time, Kendrick used that as like, well, since he's been kind of caught in that way one time, I can continue to act as if that's still 100% the case, if not even worse than it was before. And yeah, you know, to your point,
We're
like,
talking about the whole thing, just parenting, the whole thing overall, like,
yeah,
deadbeat. Okay, yeah. Because he said it again in this song. I think he said the word deadbeat, if I'm not mistaken, again. So yeah, yeah. Continue.
You know, I think again, you know, like I said, I don't really have much else to say other than because Drake's been caught in that position one time, I think Kendrick is continuing to just kind of like work from that point as if nothing has changed since 2018. And because Drake got caught one time like that, he's sort of, you know, having the audience kind of go along with him being like, well, you know, once a deadbeat, always a deadbeat or something. You know what I mean? Like, I think people sort of presume that maybe on some level, Drake, if he, you know, was having an issue on that front at one point, probably hasn't changed. So you can continue to tear him down on that front if you want to.
And I find that lazy, and I think Kendrick is better than that.
And you can make that argument. I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
But if he has nothing else though, which let's be real, bro. He doesn't know Drake like that. Okay, obviously they're not close. If we're gonna be real, bro, he probably doesn't have much, bro. And at this point, you know, he knew Drake was gonna drop another song. Oh yeah, let me pre-record. Let me pre-record that Drake has another kid. Like, come on, bro.
Well, we'll see here. Well, here's the thing. Like, and I don't think Drake's done. You know, I mean, you said earlier, like, oh, I don't even think Drake has to respond to this. Like, at this point,
Wait, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, go back. Yeah, when you said earlier, then it cut off.
I'm just going to say, I think Drake has to respond. And I think, you know, prior to the release of these most recent tracks, both Drake and Kendrick have sort of like, you know, thrown little nods and winks out there. Like, I could go nuclear. I could say the big thing. I could expose the big problem for you that you do. And, you know, I think Drake has probably no other choice at this point, especially with that picture with the owl with the red button. I think Drake has no other choice up until this point, has no choice at this point. Sorry, it's getting late. Other than to just say whatever the fuck he's going to say.
Yeah, I mean, but if we're to the point where one of them or both of them is lying, then now we're just at the point where it's just when will this end? Like, how can this end? Either someone's got to really show some, like, bro, if Kendrick, I'm telling you right now, bro, if Kendrick somehow shows proof of fucking everything he said, then hats off to him, whatever. Like, if Drake does the same shit, proves that Kendrick beat it, whatever. But I don't see how the public will choose a side based off of just songs at this point. I don't see it, bro. I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. I guess here's my position at this point. Let's extrapolate this a little bit further, and let's say that there's a chance that everything Drake said on Family Ties is 100% true. Okay, let's like say that if that is in fact true, if everything Drake said on that track is true, that is going to be like the biggest fucking shock to Kendrick Lamar's career, point blank period, to the point where I think it could like permanently ruin him. Because Kendrick, as you sort of like say, he positions himself as the good guy, as the moral guy, as the right guy. the guy who knows the way, the guy who is the light, the guy who is the future, this and that. Like, if he gets exposed in that way by Drake on that track, like, there's going to be no possible chance of anybody with 2 brain cells in their fucking head to look at him and just kind of be like, oh yeah, that's like my moral superior who I should be like looking to for like, you know, how I should go about life or something. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, dude.
So, you know, I think that would be pretty fucking damning, you know, for Kendrick. If everything Kendrick is saying is true, and he actually comes through with receipts, or, you know, and again, I don't even think it necessarily has to come from either of these guys directly. I think like, you know, Drake throwing out what he said and Kendrick throwing out what he said could inevitably lead to situations where, you know, people who want attention or want clout or, you know, are maybe connected to these situations or individuals vicariously are like, oh, actually, I know that to be true. You know, because you know the next person who actually has like the dirt or the proof for anything that these guys are saying, not even just them, is going to jump out in front of it to, you know, sort of be in the limelight and get attention on themselves to sort of like, you know, speak on any of this stuff. So it doesn't even have to come from one of them.
It
so,
has to be.
If everything Kendrick is saying is true, I mean, obviously it would be massively embarrassing, you know? However, like, you know, having connections with guys who are seedy, doing drugs, being on weight loss pills, and potentially hiding a second child. You know, I feel like that would almost be like, you know, a dramatic season finale for Drake's career, and would probably just give him more shit to rap about on his next 3 albums, you know?
So you're basically, so what you're saying is that if what Drake said is true, it's worse for Kendrick than if what Kendrick said, it's worse for Drake.
Yeah, no, I do genuinely feel that way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I agree too. And if Kendrick said worse shit, then maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I'd be like, fuck, bro. But
you know, here's the thing though. Like, you know, if
wait, can I just say this before you say it? Yeah, I keep seeing people say pedo allegations. Where was Kendrick saying Drake's a like? Why do I keep seeing this?
Like, you know, the allegations or the talk that Drake is into like super, you know, like teenage girls.
Like actually, like, because we gotta get this straight. Are we actually talking about a real like a pedo who likes kids? Or are we talking about like an older guy who likes younger girls? Like legal girl, like what are we saying?
I mean, here's the thing.
Like,
it's
actually,
like,
what are we saying?
Here's the thing. It's like it's not just girls who are just like younger but legal. Like that's kind of the allegation.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Where is this fucking allegation? Where is this allegation at?
It's more on the cusp.
I mean, again. You see with people who are actually fucking doing where's the people coming forward? If this is real. So like, that's what I'm saying. Like, guys, you could say, for the people who are sitting here being like defending a pedo. So if we're taking everything everyone like Kendrick says and whatever, so you're defending a woman beater then. You're defending a woman beater. Like we can both play this game, bro. Like, what are we talking about right now? Why didn't Drake deny it? What are you talking about? Deny it. Anyway, go ahead, bro.
Okay, you know, look, I want to kind of double back a little bit, and I'm not saying that like that those allegations that you just brought up don't exist, and that if they were to be proven, that it wouldn't be damning for Drake. It would be damning, but it wasn't like a central focus of this song. And when Kendrick did bring up something, at least from what I can recollect, did bring up something in relation to that, it was more sort of like centered around the OVO team and people who Drake might know and might have like on his payroll. I think if that sort of thing ended up being kind of like connected back to somebody Drake knows or pays, that obviously wouldn't be as damning for Drake as him literally doing it himself. But again, you know, what I'm ultimately trying to say is I feel like if everything Kendrick says, if all of it were to be proven true, it would be embarrassing for Drake, for sure. Absolutely. But I think at the end of the day, like he would probably just walk away from it unscathed, and it would just be more for him to talk about on a future record, to be frankly honest. And that's not even like, you know, a commentary on how I would feel about it. It's really more a commentary on whether or not I feel like, and not speaking about you personally, but you know, whether or not a lot of his fans would even care. Would that actually make them stop listening to Drake? I don't know.
Like if
if you found out that Drake actually does have an 11-year-old daughter tomorrow, would that make you stop listening to Drake?
No, that would not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, I let's be chat and then people. Let's be really careful about the word pedophile, bro, because you're throwing this word around. Not even Kendrick even said that. He did. Like, who said this? I understand the shit. Oh, there's people on a payroll, whatever. I don't think anyone is actually saying that Drake is that. I don't even want to say that word, bro. Like, people are really throwing this around now. Who are the fucking Drake haters, who just want Kendrick to win the beef, and you're throwing these fucking words out, bro. It's really crazy to say. It's crazy. That's all I'm saying, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Be careful.
I get what you're saying. But let me say this though. Here's one thing I want to get across though. If everything Kendrick is saying is true, and even if like 90% of it's true, especially the second kid thing, if everything Kendrick is saying is true, and he couched that in a song that sounds like a fucking nightmare, where he's rapping on this dour ass beat and writing in a way where he's like writing a letter to each of Drake's family members, that's fucking genius, man. It's fucking telling on Drake through apologizing on Drake's behalf to his mom and his dad and his son and so on is on another level of conceptual and fucked up. that honestly, Kendrick would be a real psychopath, and I would have to sort of like just be in awe of that. But again, that's only if it's actually true. If he's just bullshitting, it's actually kind of psychotic that he would put that much effort into a lie if it's not true.
I don't know, bro. And I don't even know if we'll. I don't know. I don't know how we'll even figure this out. But I'm glad that you just brought up the word genius, because we were just talking about this earlier. And what Drake just did with doing the verse over the song that Kendrick was on Drake's song.
Were you about to finish a thought there? Because I feel like you were kind of saying, are you saying you don't know if we're going to know anything, or were you kind of?
What I'm saying is this. I just don't see it getting to the point where all of these claims are backed up with receipts. I know you're talking about, other people have to come forward and, do their investigating, whatever. That's fine. I just don't see a world in which all of these allegations, the receipts are shown. I just don't see it, bro. It's too so personal. How could you?
A lot of stuff is getting said, and it's what you say to an extent is true. Like, it's a lot of stuff. Like, it would be a lot of stuff to corroborate. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of stuff to bring up evidence of. But I feel like this shit has heated up. It's gotten so fucking hot, and the stakes are so fucking high. Like, it's got to reach. There's no possible way this could end with like both of them going completely silent and it's just done. Because honestly, if it goes there, to me, from my view, that's like a mutual admission on both their parts. To me,
you think they might just both go silent on this now?
No, I don't think that. I think something's going to get exposed at some point. That's what I think. Yeah, what I'm saying is, I think it's unlikely that 0% of all of it is true, and they're just going to go quiet at random because they're just tired of the beef. I think it's ramped up to a point where there's no turning back. We're going 100 fucking miles per hour, and the cliff is 10 yards away. Like, you cannot hit the fucking brakes. Like, we're going off the cliff.
Yeah, I mean, bro. But again, like you were saying earlier, I don't want to hear shit like if Drake does drop something and then Kendrick responds 10 minutes later with a pre-recorded. Like, that's not what we want to hear. Like I want to hear direct fucking responses at this point.
No, and I
Like,
do too. If Kendrick does the same thing again, to me, that says like, okay, this is like a weird tactic, and he's just using this as an ability to ignore what Drake's saying. And it becomes more of a matter of who's lying about the other person or who's telling on the other person louder, which I don't think this should be a competition of that.
Hey, I guess we'll see, bro. I just know that by tomorrow there'll be fucking a million tweets about dissecting every lyric from Kendrick and oh shit, this goes back to 1984 and bro, I'm sick of this shit, bro. I'm sick of this. Go dissect Drake's lyrics.
Okay, listen. I get it, but honestly, in my view, it's gone beyond that. And I'm sure there are some bars on the track Kendrick just dropped that, you know, maybe there's a couple quintuple entendres in there. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. You know, it's I'll plead ignorance on that, even as a Kendrick fan. But with that being said, I don't think anybody's fucking worried about the quintuple entendres right now. I'm sure some people are, but you know, at this point, so many allegations have been leveled. Like some shit's got to come out of some skeletons got to get pulled out of the closet, because what the fuck are we doing if any of this stuff isn't actually factual?
Cat, if Drake actually has a kid, what does that mean? How will you look at him differently? I'm confused. I want to know.
Me personally, I would think it's embarrassing, you know, but I mean, it probably wouldn't, you know, change my view of his abilities as an artist, or whether or not people should or could listen to his music. You know, it would just be crazy to have him just kind of caught in the same way twice. In my view, it wouldn't change my view of him. It wouldn't completely turn it upside down.
Can I get your take on what is this picture that Kendrick used for Meet the Grams? Is this supposed to be proof that there's like a snake in his fucking...
I haven't had a full view of it. Like, obviously, it's just kind of like it's a wider shot of the first one with the glove and everything. But you know, Alec is raising his hand like he's in class. Alec, yes, Alec.
Somebody
get close to the microphone, please. Microphone etiquette.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Somebody said that it was like items that were stolen out of Drake's dad's suitcase at some point. Okay. I don't know if it's true or not, but
okay. I mean, well,
what did he say? I didn't hear that.
Did you not hear him?
No, I didn't hear him. What did he say?
He said people are talking about online how it may be pictures of items that were taken out of Drake's father's suitcase, which even if that is the case, like that's his dad.
Yeah, that's just such a reach. Where would they get that information if that was even factual to begin with?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, has anyone in the chats, anyone zoomed in and read anything? Like, what is it? Like, what are the pills?
It seems a little confusing because that shirt does not kind of seem like Drake's style. I was like, that doesn't seem like the kind of shirt Drake would wear.
That's Ozempic. Ozempic for Drake.
There are like several different bars in in that Kendrick diss. I mean, even in Euphoria, where he's like, "Where did you get those abs from?"
Right, and also if Drake was legitimately exposed for using Ozempic, I mean, lots of celebrities are on Ozempic. It doesn't really matter.
Fucking Oprah is like the spokesperson for Ozempic now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's is, by the way, is being on Ozempic, is that like bad? Like, is that exposure?
It's just a weight loss thing. It's not exposure. Like I just said, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a tease. It's just a tease.
It's just like a talking shit, but people are acting like that's some fucking mind-blowing shit. Like, if someone's on fucking Ozempic or not, bro. You need it. All right, bro. Yo, Mod, start doing some shit, bro. Anyway, man, bro. I can say this though, with full confidence. This is probably the craziest beef that I have ever seen in my lifetime.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the case for all of us. That's the case for all.
Yeah,
of
I know
us.
you're a little older, but I think.
Wait, how much older am I than you?
No, I don't know. I'm saying like I'm in my 20s.
Oh, you're still in your 20s?
Yeah.
Are you 28, 29?
Yeah, I'm 29. I'm 29, but I'm saying, yeah, like in my life,
Yeah.
so far, in my young life, I haven't seen like a crazier beef.
I get it.
Rap beef.
I get it. Yeah, that's true.
What compares to it in your opinion?
Oh, no, nothing. Again, not much else. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess in terms of like, respective size within hip hop, I mean, we haven't really seen two giants go at each other like this since Jay-Z and Nas. You know, like two giants, you know, and then before that, the two previous giants before that would be, Pac and Biggie.
So let me ask you this, because I obviously I wasn't around at that time. What could you say that Jay-Z was Drake and Nas was Kendrick? Like, was Nas on Kendrick's? Like, was it like, oh, those are like the top 2, 3? Like
that's probably
in
like
that
that's probably like the closest way you could kind of compare it. But and I've said this before, I can't remember because I've been talking about this nonstop for the past 2 weeks. You know, what makes that beef though so different is like stylistically and lyrically and in so many ways, Jay-Z and Nas were so similar in vibe. I mean, you could argue that Jay-Z was way more pop centric than Nas, and he was, because he kind of, through Hard Knock Life and a host of other tracks, he sort of like expanded the hip hop audience to, people who didn't necessarily listen to rap all the time. Whereas Nas was for the hardcores, and in a similar dynamic is happening now, but like Drake and Kendrick are way more far apart stylistically and musically. It's like their content is different. The way they write is different. Who they write their tracks with or how they go about writing their tracks is different.
Hey, hold on. I gotta answer this phone call. Give me a second.
It's night and day.
Hold on.
I'm officially taking the W. Another Fantano fucking W off of Los. The fucking debates. Fantano Los, what is it? Like fucking 4-0, 5-0 at this point? Fucking W after W after W after W.